Hi, I just want to give you a quick tour of the changes that we've made to the TTS mod. First of all, the changes we've made are completely backwards compatible. That's to say that if you prefer to play the original game, or if you only really want to play the McFadden variant, you still can. The changes we've brought in are aimed at user experience improvements, and yeah, I'll just give you some examples. So in here we have the all the teams which are part of the fan-made variant, and in here we have all the teams that are part of the original. So you can see I've got 2 teams out at the minute, so there's only 30 left in there, and there's 33 in there, including the special edition, which was the Coilers. So in here, in the 2020 fan-made variant, if I click search, you can see that I've created these little boxes. It's a tuck box. It just works like any normal container, and everything is stored within there as normal, but this just feels a little bit more in keeping with the game. It looks a lot like the tuck boxes which I know TJans put on Board Game Geek, and the advantage is that it doubles up. You can put it over here and it looks like part of the scoreboard. Which means that when spectators are in the game, then it's a bit easier to understand who's who, just when the scores are written up there, like so. So, user experience improvements. We've changed the old module which was over here, and we've replaced it with this games controller, which looks a bit more in keeping with the game's theme. We've brought in the dice which were created by Heinz, so they are there, and we've also created these scripting zones, which means that card management should be a little bit easier. So if, for example, I try and draw a play for monsters, and I'm going to do this deliberately incorrectly, so if I pull in 4 cards by mistake and click call play, it will pop up with a message telling me that I must have 5 cards in the play area in order to call a play. So once I've got my 5 cards set, I can press call play. It then pops up at the bottom as a message to everybody that I have called a play, which should mean we no longer have the question where we're just both waiting on each other saying, are you ready, are you ready, are you ready? And actually you've both been ready for 5 minutes. So that's possibly an issue that's really only unique to playing online. Obviously, when you're in real life, it's quite easy. It's a bit easier to see that the other person is ready, whereas in this, you have to obviously scroll up and down to check. But now it's in the script, in the chat. So we've also introduced this flip next button. So if I click on that, it flips over the top card and announces to everybody that Andrew Staines is ready to play round 1. Now, any other cards that I put here, whether they're face up as bench boosts or face down as bench boosts, when I click discard active, it will take everything that is in this scripting zone and move it into the discard pile. And it will turn it all so it's face down. Regardless of whether it's placed face up or face down, it will move it to the discard pile face down. On this player module here, we've got pressure 1 and pressure 2. Now, the reason we've introduced the pressure 1 button is just because within the fan-made variant, we have instances where you might end up being pressured for 1 card rather than being pressured for 2. We were managing that by just the person who is being pressured just flips their hand, shuffles it, you draw 1 at random. But that seems like a lot of faff when you can get a button to do it for you. So, yeah, we've got these 2 buttons here for pressure 1 and pressure 2. We've also got this return all button. Now I'm going to take the Vikings cards out of my hand just for a second, just so that I can show you this. So this return all button, we have made it so that it takes all cards from this region, and this region and returns them to your hand and then does the sort. So the sort function is no longer on this module over here, but when you click that button, it takes all cards from these regions and puts them back in your hand. Should be a little bit faster. We've then also done this. We've automated the scoreboard. So the scoreboard now, if I press touchdown, it'll give me the chance of 1 point, 2 point, or failed. And once I've added that on, that will then disappear. If I click field goal, or if I kick safety, it'll add on 2 points, and I can reset my score if I ever make a mistake. So those are the scoring modules. Over here, just another little sort of creature comfort. I've made it so that these have got backs to them. So rather than having to move them over from the left to the right once you've used them, they're now just double-sided so we can tell when they're on their used side. The blue timeouts are now blue, the red timeouts are still red. That just, again, is a little sort of creature comfort. And I've also brought in the change jerseys for all the teams. So as you can see, Vikings now have, Ragnarok now have a choice of playing in either their yellow or their purple. Yeah, so in terms of recognition for this, there's a whole heap of people we need to really credit. So first of all, I want to say thanks to Aggie. Aggie is a guy who came in to help us do a lot of the coding. So Aggie was responsible for coding this return all button, coding this discard active button, coding the flip next button, coding for this scoreboard. He's done a huge amount of work on this, and I'm really, really thankful. Secondly, I want to thank TJans, who was the creator of the original mod. I want to thank Heinz for creating these cards. I want to thank Mr. Stump, who I've got no idea who he is, but he's referenced in the code a lot by TJans, so I'm guessing he's done something along the way. Then I also really just want to thank the other contributors in the fan-made variant for supporting this project and getting it to where it is. So yeah, thanks for watching.